I have a 25-year-old pet peeve that I want to share with you in this video. And I just decided I'm going to do something about this. So I went to work and decided to eliminate my pet peeve. It has to do with these old fan clutches on these old diesels and gas models that have these 4 special bolts that hold the fan clutch to the water pump. Now I've cut off the water pump here just for the sake of illustration in this video. But my pet peeve has to do with these bolts. The factory bolts right there. And if you've worked on one of these, you know exactly what I'm talking about. If you get down in there with an open-end wrench and get on here, look at how loose they are. They're supposed to be 10 millimeter, but they're just loose enough that an open-end wrench will slip off and round off those bolts. And then you got a problem. So how did I deal with this pet peeve about 20 years ago? I came up with a special wrench, a ground-off box wrench that would fit over the head and get these bolts loose without rounding them off. Because let me tell you, these things get on there for years and they're so tight. But I wish I would have saved all the rounded off special bolts that came off these water pumps over the years. I'd have a whole bag of them. So recently I said, maybe there's a better bolt out there. I think maybe one of the reasons they made this so loose, it's also fairly narrow. See that? It's a fairly narrow head. So a lot of times you get a heavy wrench on there, it doesn't really cover. But working with these bolts with an open end wrench was a problem. So I started doing some searching for a better bolt, probably something that has a little bit fatter head and a little bit stronger metal so it doesn't have a tendency to round out. And look what we came up with today. This is great. The pet peeve, that old pet peeve is no more. We have a solution for these old fan clutches attaching to these water pumps. Look at how this wrench fits on that head. I think you can tell just by looking at it, this is a harder steel than the factory bolts there. But the wrench goes on there. Now watch the play here. See, you just have a little bit of play. So you can get on these because of the wider surface and the tighter fitting. You can get these on and off with just an open and then wrench. Come on. Well, I guess Jerson put that on so tight that I can't get it off. I'd have to put it up into a vise, but I think you can get the picture there. If we look at them more closely, you can see the difference in the heads. You can actually see the newer bolt head is slightly larger, and you can also see it's slightly taller there. See that? So what we're going to do is we're going to offer these bolts for sale. If any of you price these from Mercedes-Benz, you can't believe it. You're going to pay about $40 for 4 of these. So we're going to be able to beat the price, but we're also going to be able to offer these to you in our kits, which include the new water pump and the special tool. Now, I do need to warn you that because these bolts are slightly larger in this area, you may not be able to get a shaved box wrench on them. But that's okay, because they're strong enough to be able to handle an open-end wrench to tighten and loosen them on the water pump. So if you want a solution to eliminate your own pet peeve, check out the links on my description below.